Have you ever trusted someone so deeply, only to discover that same person was the one who destroyed your life? This is the story of Maya, a young woman whose world crumbled at the hands of the people she loved the most. Maya was just 23, bright-eyed, soft-spoken, and full of dreams. She believed in love, and she believed in Collins, the man she thought was her forever. To Maya, Collins was charming, ambitious, and protective. He made her feel safe in a world that often felt cruel. But behind his gentle smile, Collins carried a darkness Maya couldn't see. What Maya never imagined was that the man she adored and the cousin she trusted like a sister were secretly bound by betrayal. Collins had been having an affair with Maya's cousin for months, and together the two of them plotted a scheme so vile it would rob Maya of her freedom, her dignity, and almost her life. The plan was simple yet cruel. They drugged her one evening under the disguise of celebration. Maya remembered the bitter taste of the drink, how the room spun, how her vision blurred, and then darkness. When she woke up, her life had changed forever. She had been given away, like a pawn for financial gain, traded to a young billionaire named Mark. He was wealthy beyond measure, respected yet feared. That night marked the beginning of Maya's downfall. By morning, whispers spread like wildfire. Maya had been accused of stealing from Mark, his gold, his prized possession. The evidence was stacked against her, neatly placed to make her look guilty. She screamed her innocence, begged for someone to believe her, but no one listened. Collins was nowhere to be found. Her cousin looked away. And Mark in his rage, demanded punishment. Within days, Maya was convicted and sent to prison. 9 long months. 9 months of cold walls, iron bars, and endless nights of regret. Prison broke her spirit, but what she didn't know was that before her conviction, she had already conceived. The child inside her was the last piece of innocence she carried into the darkness. When labor came, it was brutal. Alone, shackled in a room that smelled of despair, Maya gave birth. And when the baby's weak cry filled the air, a tiny spark of hope lit her heart. She whispered promises to the child, dreams of a better life. But within hours, her world collapsed again. The guards told her the baby was deformed and that the child had died. Maya's screams echoed through the prison halls that night. She felt the universe had stolen everything from her, her freedom, her child, her future. Yet outside those prison walls, Mark found himself unsettled. For reasons he couldn't understand, her case haunted him. Something about Maya didn't fit the picture of a thief. Something inside him questioned the truth. Quietly, he began to seek answers, determined to find her when the time was right. 9 months later, Maya was released. Not free, but on probation. The condition was cruel. She had 1 month to secure a job or she would be sent back behind bars. With no family to turn to, no friends to trust, and a past that followed her like a curse, Maya stepped back into the world with nothing but her will to survive. But survival wasn't easy. Everywhere she went, doors slammed in her face. Her resume was tossed aside the moment they learned of her conviction. Rejection after rejection carved deeper scars into her spirit. Days turned into weeks. Her time was running out. The fear of prison loomed over her like a shadow she couldn't escape. Then, just when she thought the end had come, Maya stumbled upon a job advert that promised something almost unbelievable. A nanny position. The pay? $10,000. Enough to change her life forever. Maya's heart pounded as she clutched the paper in her hands. Could this be her second chance? Could this be the miracle she had been waiting for? She didn't know it yet, but this job would open doors to secrets, love, and dangers she never expected. And it would tie her fate once again to the man who unknowingly held her destiny in his hands. Maya's hands trembled as she held the job advert. A nanny position, $10,000. To most people, it sounded too good to be true, but to Maya,
It sounded like her last hope. She only had days left before the month expired and prison doors threatened to close on her again. She applied. She wasn't sure what they wanted in a nanny, but she had nothing to lose. The morning of the interview came. Maya arrived at the Hills mansion, a towering estate that spoke of wealth and power. Its gates loomed above her, its walls whispering secrets of the man who owned it. Mark, the young billionaire whose name still haunted her memories. She didn't know it yet, but fate had brought her back to him. Inside, she wasn't alone. 8 other women sat in the grand waiting room. They wore polished suits, carried portfolios, and smiled with confidence. Maya felt small, almost invisible among them. These women had certificates, years of childcare experience, and glowing recommendations. Maya had nothing but a broken past and a desperate heart. One by one, the women were called in. Their laughter drifted into the hallway as they spoke of their degrees and training. Maya sat quietly, clutching her worn handbag, rehearsing what little she could say. When her turn finally came, she walked into a spacious room where a panel waited. In the center of the room sat a little girl, Luna. She was small, fragile, with eyes that seemed older than her years. And yet there was something else, an emptiness, a silence. She could feel it the moment she walked in. The rules of the interview were unusual. This wasn't about resumes, nor about recommendations. It was about Luna. The child would choose. The one she responded to, the one she trusted, would be given the job. The first woman approached Luna with a practiced smile, kneeling and offering her toys. Luna turned her face away. The second tried to coax her with sweet words, but Luna didn't move. The third sang softly, but Luna's expression didn't change. One after another, the women tried and failed. Then came Maya. Her steps were hesitant. Her heart pounded. She bent slowly, her eyes meeting the child's. For a moment, neither spoke. Then softly, Maya whispered, "Hello, little one. My name is Maya." Luna blinked, tilting her head curiously. Something unexplainable happened in that moment. Luna leaned forward, her small arms stretching out. She wanted Maya to hold her. Gasps filled the room as the silent, distant child who had never allowed a stranger near her chose Maya without hesitation. Maya's arms closed around Luna. The child clung tightly, her tiny fingers gripping Maya's dress as though she had found something she had been searching for. And then, the impossible happened. For the first time, Luna spoke. Her voice was weak but clear, a single word that pierced the silence. "Ma." The room fell silent. The panel exchanged stunned looks. The other women froze in disbelief. Maya's eyes filled with tears. She kissed the child's hair and whispered, "I've got you, baby. I've got you." The billionaire Mark was standing in the corner, watching everything. His face was unreadable, but inside he was shaken. Luna had never spoken before, not a word, not even to him, and now in the arms of this stranger, she had broken her silence. The decision was made instantly. Maya, against all odds, got the job. That night as she tucked Luna into bed, Maya whispered words she hadn't spoken out loud since the day she lost her child in prison. "If my baby had lived, she would be your age. She would have been just like you, Luna." Her voice cracked, her tears falling silently. Luna's little hand touched her cheek, and in that touch, she felt something she thought she had lost forever. A bond, a reason to live. But not everyone was pleased. Within days, Mark discovered the truth. Maya wasn't just another applicant. She was an ex-convict, the very same woman who had once been accused of stealing from him. Anger surged through him. How could fate mock him this way? How could he allow someone like her near his daughter? He demanded her dismissal, but Luna's cries filled the house each time Maya tried to leave. The little girl clung to her, screaming until her voice broke. Mark had never seen his daughter so desperate. Torn between anger and his daughter's happiness, he made a harsh decision. Maya would stay, but on probation. 1 month. One chance to prove herself. One mistake, and she would be gone forever. Maya accepted. She had no choice. This wasn't just a job now, it was survival. It was destiny. What she didn't realize was that the days ahead would test her strength in ways she never imagined. For as she grew closer to Luna, something unexpected began to happen. The walls Mark had built around his heart slowly began to crack. And soon, Maya's past, the betrayal, the lies, the enemies she thought she had left behind,
would rise again, threatening to destroy everything she was beginning to build. The days that followed were unlike anything Maya had experienced before. Every morning, Luna would run into her arms with the kind of joy only a child could carry. They played, laughed, and told stories together. For the first time since prison, Maya felt human again. She felt needed. But it wasn't just Luna who was changing. Mark, the man who once saw her as nothing more than a criminal, began to notice things he couldn't ignore. He noticed how Luna slept peacefully whenever Maya was near. He noticed how the little girl laughed for the first time in months, how her appetite returned, how her eyes sparkled with life. And slowly, he noticed Maya herself. She wasn't the thief he had once believed her to be. She was gentle, patient, and strong. Despite everything she had endured, she carried herself with quiet grace. Against his will, Mark found himself drawn to her. His anger battled with a feeling he couldn't name, and every day that battle grew harder to fight. But fate is never kind for long. One afternoon, Maya accompanied Mark to the Hills Group headquarters. She was there to help with Luna, who refused to leave her side. The grand lobby buzzed with activity. Executives, assistants, and investors passing by in polished suits. And that's when Maya froze. Standing at the far end of the lobby were two faces she thought she'd never see again. Collins and her cousin, together. Her chest tightened, her breath caught. The memories of betrayal, the drugs, the prison cell, it all came rushing back. They saw her too, and in their eyes she could see it. The recognition, the shock, and then the smugness. Later that evening, they cornered her. "So," Collins sneered, his arm draped casually around her cousin's shoulder, "the ex-convict is working as a nanny now, in the billionaire's house, no less. What a joke." Her cousin laughed, her voice dripping with cruelty. "Did you really think you could escape us, Maya? You're still the same naive girl, only now you're playing mother to someone else's child." Maya's fists trembled, rage burned in her chest, but she bit back her words. She couldn't afford to break down, not here, not in front of them. But their threats were clear. They knew her secrets, and if they spoke, if they poisoned Mark's mind, everything she had built with Luna could vanish in an instant. That night, Maya sat awake in her small room, tears staining her pillow. She was caught between two worlds, her painful past and her fragile future. For Luna's sake, she had to fight. She had to prove that she was more than the lies told about her. As the probation days dwindled, Maya poured herself into her work. She cooked meals, told stories, helped Luna learn new words, and filled the mansion with a warmth it had never known before. Even Mark couldn't deny it anymore. Maya wasn't just an employee, she was becoming the heart of his home. One evening, Mark found himself standing in the doorway, watching as Maya and Luna played together on the floor. Laughter filled the room, soft and genuine. For a moment, Mark's chest tightened, not with anger, but with something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. But hope is fragile. Collins and Maya's cousin weren't finished. They wanted money, power, and they knew Maya's presence in Mark's house was their key. They approached him secretly, weaving lies about her, claiming she was dangerous, claiming she had come back to finish what she started years ago. Mark listened, his mind torn in two. Could it be true? Was Maya still the woman he once believed her to be? Or was she truly the victim of betrayal, just as his heart wanted to believe? The final day of her probation arrived. Maya stood before Mark, her hands shaking, but her eyes steady. She said, "If you don't trust me, I'll leave. But I swear to you, I never stole from you. I never hurt you. The only crime I committed was trusting the wrong people." Silence filled the room. Luna clung to her leg, tears streaming down her cheeks. The little girl's voice broke the stillness as she cried out, "Papa, please don't take her away." Mark's decision in that moment would change everything. Would he believe the lies of her enemies? Or would he believe the truth written in her eyes, the truth reflected in the love his daughter had found in her? Maya waited, her heart pounding. And that is where her story takes its most powerful turn. If you've been following Maya's journey, her betrayal, her conviction, her fight for survival, what do you think Mark should do? Should he trust Maya, or should he let her go? Tell us in the comments below. And if you want to hear more powerful stories like this, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world, and it helps us bring you even more unforgettable stories. Until next time, stay tuned.